Hey guys, I know it's been a long time since my last video, and I posted a short just basically explaining the situation where I've had a family emergency, and that's been ongoing for the last month or so. I've been dealing with that, and I had a couple of you guys reach out to me and actually give nice condolences and basically some support, even though I don't know you guys on the other side of this screen and I don't have a ton of viewers. I just have a couple of hundred viewers here and there. It was really nice to actually get responses back that genuinely concerned and care about me as a person, not just a YouTube content creator. So anyways, with that said, I have had a lot of video footage that I've been doing in the background. I just haven't been able to get up and piece everything together. One of the things that we're going to go through today is my 78 terabyte explosion of all of those rigs, all of those hard drives. Somebody saw that video on Reddit, and they actually DM'd me on Reddit saying that they run a data recovery company and they can probably help out. It took me a couple of months to even see that someone had DM'd me on Reddit, because 99.999% of the time it's always just spam or something like that. I've never actually talked to a human being on Reddit through a direct message. So I reached out to him and I said, hey, thanks for reaching out. Yeah, it was brutal what happened, but he saw the video and he kind of figured out what I had done, and he said it's not uncommon. So in this video, we're going to go over basically what I did, how I screwed up, and then he was able to actually fix all of those drives. And so we're going to have a video of how we fixed those drives, as well as a brief interview with me and him on, what he does, where he got his expertise, and he even has a YouTube channel that I'm going to link in the description below. I've seen a lot of his videos and they're actually really cool. He does some cool work, unlike us. So meaningful work. So in this video, we're going to go take a look at how I rescued those drives. Chris, thank you. Huge shout out. Obviously, I couldn't have done any of this without you. So the community is amazing. People are reaching out to me on a personal level, as well as helping me with my foibles whenever I do screw up, whether it's good or bad. So we're going to go through that today, and I have a ton of projects that are going to be coming up here shortly. At the end of this video, there'll be a little clip of what we're kind of thinking about doing. We received 3 Octominer, 12 Octominer GPUs that we're going to put in the basement. We installed 2 30 amp circuits in the basement. We have a ton of over 350 terabytes of hard drive space that we're going to be utilizing for a new project in the basement. And I'm going to also be setting up my smart home lab, in the basement. So we're going to have a separate server that's going to control all my home security and all of that other stuff. So there's a ton of things that are going on. So stick around. I know there's not a lot of you, but the ones that do watch are genuinely amazing, and I love my community, as small as it is. You guys make everything right, and actually the reason why I'm reaching out back to you guys is because some of you guys reached out to me and kind of had some concerns about where I am. And yeah, all right, here we go. Let's do this. I'm back. All right, boys. Hey guys, all right, so I'm in front of an LCBO in Mississauga because somebody reached out to me from Data Research Labs on Reddit, actually, when they saw my video about me losing all of the hard drives, and they actually do hard drive recovery as a service. So he reached out to me, and I said, oh, okay, well, I'm going to be in Toronto next week. Can I maybe drop the drives off so you can maybe see what's going on with them, or what it's going to take to kind of get them back in working order? So he said, sure, yeah, just swing by. And so yeah, we're meeting up now, which is awesome. This is one of those like random online community things where I posted a video of like something that I've done, and then somebody's coming to my rescue really nicely. So obviously we're gonna work out a deal on if they're recoverable or how much it'll take to make them recovering. But this is awesome. So I'm driving around Toronto, getting my hard drives fixed, and they're right here actually. Oh, well, I can't really show you yet. But anyway, so I'm going to meet up with him, and we'll see how that goes. And then I guess he'll let me know what he thinks about the drive states and if we can save them, if we can reuse them or what have you. So anyway, stay tuned. I think he's going to post a video on kind of what he went through to try and fix these. I did buy a PCB here for the 14 terabyte hard drive. So this probably is going to be a pretty easy fix. I think we'll be able to just replace the PCB, put the BIOS on here, and then the 14 terabyte should be back in working order. The drives are so expensive, so that's why I kind of want to see, even if I have to pay a little bit of money to get them back to working order, it will be worth it. So anyway, so we're going to meet up with Chris, and I'm going to show you guys a little bit about his company. I'll do a little quick refresher online to show you his website and kind of some of the stuff that he does. And I might be able to get an interview with him, but it is raining, so I'm not too sure how that's going to happen, but we'll see. Either way, this is awesome. All right, guys, see you in a bit. All right, I just left the Data Rescue Labs headquarters with my drives here, and they're all fixed, and they gave me a great deal. I'm gonna send a link at the bottom here for sure for their promo and whatnot. Anyways, we're gonna have a long trip home, so I'm gonna get going. It's gonna take me another 4 hours home, but this was definitely worth it. Why don't we kick this off? So
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for taking the time to
No
meet
problem.
with me, Chris. So for those of you who don't know, Chris is the one who reached out to me regarding my failed drive video where I had 78 terabytes of chia and media drives that just blew up. Luckily, Chris reached out to me from Data Rescue Labs in Mississauga and said, hey, I might be able to help you with your drives, which was amazing because saving these drives at that point was a no-go. And so I just kind of wrote them off, and there was no saving those drives in terms of financially being able to pay for that to be saved.
For sure.
Yeah, so luckily I ended up responding to a Reddit post, which I never do. It's just kind of fate. And Chris said, hey, I'm in Mississauga if you're ever down, and then bring the drives and I can take a look at them. So Chris, why don't you just do a quick introduction to yourself and tell my viewers kind of what it is that you do and how you stumbled upon my video.
Sure. My name is Chris. I'm a forensic investigator from Data Rescue Labs. We've run this company for 12 years. Yeah, 12 years, I think now, yeah. So I do mostly data recovery and computer forensics. And I was just on Reddit, I forgot what forum, I think Chia forum, Chia subreddit. And I saw his post. I was like, I saw a lot of people suggesting what to do. I was like, that's not all gonna work. I better message this guy before he blows up all the drives even further. So I sent him a message and I didn't hear from him. So I'm like, oh, well, screw this guy. And then he gets back to me a few weeks later. So yeah, it all worked out.
Yeah, it was really cool to come and see actually where you guys are and what you guys do.
Yeah.
And you have a YouTube channel as well, which we'll link here for sure. I was going through some of your old videos. It goes back to 6 years ago.
Yeah.
So you said you've been with the company for 12 years. Is this your company or?
No, this is our company.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And so you started the YouTube thing about 6 years ago, just kind of putting some stuff out there and seeing what people like. One of the videos I was watching, actually, I didn't know if this was allowed, but apparently you were able to download a passcode and information from a phone, like an old phone, by just plugging it into a piece of hardware. It downloads the whole phone, and then you get everything unencrypted, which is like,
yeah.
I'm like, can you do that? And like, you can't.
We can break into most phones, yeah, even iPhones.
Really, eh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Now we can't show everything on YouTube. Unfortunately, our vendor is preventing us from advertising that ability. So I can show a little bit of it, but I can't really discuss it in full. So they put a lot of stipulations on us because while the manufacturers know this is happening, they don't want it in the news. So we can sort of advertise through other people. I can tell people, I'm in a lot of private groups on Facebook, cell phone groups, and I usually, people know me there. So I just tell them, listen, this is what we can do. Reach out to me, but I can't advertise outright.
Right, of course, yeah. In fact, speaking of the iPhone, I saw another video of yours with iOS 16 on how the new iMessage still stores your edited and deleted messages.
Yeah.
Even when, so from that video, which I'm going to post a whole bunch of his cool videos on the links here in the description. But one of the things that it showed is that, yeah, sure, you're allowed to edit your response now in iMessage, but that gets logged in the phone still.
Yeah, yeah.
So like
if
that,
you actually text someone with who's not iOS 16, it will show up. So if you send a message hello and you edit the message, the other person who doesn't have 16, it will show that it says edited message, and in quotation it shows what you edited.
oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So it doesn't just edit it on the fly, it actually shows. And in fact, I think that should almost be the de facto functionality in all reality, but
Yeah.
it is good that they still have it logged on the phone, so that if there was like a criminal case, because I know you guys have to deal with a lot of sensitive security, it's not erased. So that information is still logged on the phone, which is really interesting to see that.
As long as it's not deleted.
Oh, I didn't see that part. If you
Yeah.
actually delete the message, then it
It's
goes
gone.
off.
It's gone. Like since iOS 12.1, we and law enforcement have not been able to recover deleted messages. They've been from iOS.
Oh,
Pretty
okay.
much. The Apple's changed the way it's doing it.
Yeah.
They erased it completely now.
Oh man. Well,
I made videos on that.
There was some really cool things that I've watched on your YouTube channel. So definitely, guys, subscribe and take a look at some of the cool stuff that he's allowed to show you, because he's doing a whole bunch of stuff in the background that he's not allowed to show you. So
Yeah, unfortunately.
that's probably the best. That's probably the best thing. So okay, so one of the questions I wanted to ask you as well was, you work with some stuff that you can't speak of and some stuff that you can. Of the stuff that you can speak of, what is the coolest project that you've had to do and kind of like, I don't know, rescue or what have you? What was the most interesting thing that you've done in your 12?
There was a lot. I mean, there's one that we spent months on. There was someone who was stealing money from someone who was dying, and we had all the devices, and we had to go through every single device and figure out how the money was taken, where it was going, who was doing it.
My goodness.
Yeah, so we spent hours and hours on that, and eventually we figured out where it went, who took it, and the person ended up getting caught. But
Wow.
yeah.
So you're able to see all of that stuff by just doing like forensics on the phone and like the different
It was
items.
computers, it was phones. The iMac that's part of this case is sitting next to me. I was actually given this computer after the case because they don't want it. And you said you can keep the computer. It's my editing system now.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
That's a pretty powerful computer then.
Yeah. It's a 5K Mac. I was like, oh, I'll take it, no problem.
Yeah.
I can use it. It was too expensive to ship back, so they said just keep it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So okay, so that's a pretty cool. Like, I guess you don't have a guarantee of getting everything that is being asked of you, right? So there's got to be stipulations of, we can't recover this data, or there's nothing we can do for you at this point, right?
In forensics, there's zero guarantee for anything. When you come and see us, we'll say we'll do our best, but we can only get you what's there. If it's not there, I can't give it to you.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, of course.
So if the evidence is there, we'll give it to you. If it's not there, we can't give it to you.
Oh man. So okay, so the other thing, after Chris here fixed my drives, explained to me what I had done, and I'll go through that in a little bit. It's a little bit embarrassing, but he did make sure to know that what I had done was not uncommon. It has been done before.
I've done it.
Where
Yeah, I've done it.
The Molex cable was plugged in the wrong way, and anyway, so that's what ended up blowing up the drives. I know a lot of people have been asking me, how did it short? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show in this video kind of what Chris had explained that I had most likely done, and I can guarantee you I probably did that too. So
I have the video. My video is coming this Sunday. I don't know when you're going to post this video, but my video is coming this Sunday, which is December 3rd, 4th.
Yeah.
And I actually show Molex cable how easy it is to take it, unplug it, and force it the other way. It will go right in.
Yeah, and it's already hard to push in the first place, so you
Yeah.
can't really tell that it's not going in the right way.
Even if you go kind of sideways, it will still connect and it will blow up the drives.
Unbelievable. Do you get that a lot? Is that a common thing?
I get a lot of blown up drives, but I don't know if it's from that specific thing. But in your case, because all the drives that were plugged into that line were blown
Yeah.
up, I am almost certain that's what you did, because I watched your video. Sorry, I watched your video and I saw the Molex cable you're using, and I thought he must have reversed it. He had to.
It had to have been. That's like,
Yeah.
yeah. The downfall of it was just, yeah.
Did you
'Cause
plug in more drives after that to that same server?
yeah, so I think when I was doing the troubleshooting, I didn't
Yeah.
know exactly where the issue was at the time. And so I had found out, like, if I plugged any new drive into the bottom JBOD portion, they would immediately like die. So
Oh,
I was probably killing drives testing it out. And
oh
then I was like,
crap.
okay, so this whole bottom section, I'm not touching it.
So
And
it's
so
possible that the bottom section is just bad. That's also possible.
is that okay? Because yeah, so I have some smaller drives that I'm going to test out, but I'm definitely going to review that basically that Molex cable.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to toss in like a 500 gig drive in there to see if it works. If it does, then okay, then it was just the Molex. Otherwise, I'm just going to leave it because I can't I can't lose any more drives. I
Oh,
can't
I
keep
know.
driving to Toronto to get these drives. Okay, there's another thing here. Oh yeah, so we wanted to speak when I was in the office. I wanted to speak to you about the proper backup solution for most people that nobody really actually does. So people come to you most likely when, oh my gosh, I've lost all of my pictures and they haven't had it properly backed up. And one of the things that I heard you say is like a 3-2-1 solution is usually the best. And I also was asking about bit rot, and if I just have a drive there that's sitting there for years and years, is there a fear of turning it on and it blowing up or what have you? So maybe you explain to the viewers a little bit about proper backup solutions and kind of testing that as you go through time.
So yeah, like I mentioned, 3-2-1 backup is the best. And then this is not my idea. This is something I've heard and everyone's repeating that. So apparently this is the best thing to do. So 3 backups, 2 different media types and 1 offsite. Because if your house burns down, then you still lose everything anyway. Right. So
What do
it's
you
best.
mean media, 2 different media types?
So 1 on a hard drive, maybe some on long storage Blu-ray discs. Who knows, right? I mean, whatever,
Okay.
or cloud.
Okay.
And offsite, put it on a archive hard drive and give it to your parents.
Yeah.
Now you have 3 copies.
All right. Yeah.
And don't use RAID, because RAID is not a backup.
Okay. Because a lot of people do say that RAID is the backup.
No, RAID is the worst thing. The RAID is the worst thing you can use, because you can have 2 drives fail out of a RAID 5, and then you're screwed, right?
And then it's all gone.
Yeah, pretty much.
One more goes, it's all gone.
Yeah.
People purchasing secondhand drives online. Now, the longevity of a drive, I know you can run a smart scan, which gives you, I guess it gives you a base estimate of how much life is left on a drive, right? Now, that I don't know how accurate that is. Or if you get a drive from a secondhand, how can you tell if it's going to last or if it's failing, or what are the things that people can do? Because drives are expensive, to verify when they get the drive that this is actually a reasonable drive.
So it depends. Smart is not smart, obviously. I mean, it's not obvious to everyone else, but I don't rely on smart. The first thing I look at is smart, obviously, but sometimes you can have 0 relocated sectors and you plug the drive in and it's misbehaving. So the one thing I always do is, if a drive comes in here, if a client tells me the drive is good, first thing I do is I'll image the drive and I'm not listening to the client. If I can't image it, if I'm just testing a drive, then the best thing is to use tools that can scan the surface of the drive. So Ace Lab, that makes my hardware for data recovery, like PC3000, for example. I don't know if I can pick it up here. I can't, but anyways, PC3000, they have their own free software. It's called Disk Analyzer. And you can hit start and it will analyze the entire surface of the disk. And then you can see a graph and you can see where the problem could be, or where the problem already is. Because
is that similar to like a deep defrag, or like
no. All this thing does is reads each sector 1 by 1 and it tells you the timeout on it. and you can see a graph. You see kind of deviation from the normal fall off as the further in the drive you get, the slower it is. If you see a huge deviations in that graph, then you can kind of figure out, okay, this drive is obviously failing. You know.
Okay, so that's a free software you said?
Yeah, it's free software. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay,
I'll
so
send you a link to it after. You can
for
post it
sure,
on your-
because right now buying drives online, you never know how long they're going to last or if they're even worth a damn.
But the problem with drive is we bought drives here, brand new drives that die within the day. And then you have drives that are 30 years old and still working. So it's a hit and miss. The drives are funny. They already have defects. When you buy drives that are brand new, drives already have defects hidden away from you. There's already defects in the drive. So that's why there's a G list called a grow list that keeps track of what's bad and what isn't. So once the G list gets filled out with all the bad sectors, only then the smart stuff starts to report bad sectors, because before that point, you don't even know what's happening. There's only so much space it has that before it's past that point when it starts telling you, listen, drive is failing.
Is that so those I know, like it's similar to CPUs where you'll get a CPU that is maybe a little bit defective from the process, so it's a lower clock speed, so they like disable a couple of cores.
It's a little bit different, yeah, but same idea.
So like there's black label, red label, green label, white label, all of these different drives say they're specific for different purposes. Now, is that just a gimmick or is that actually real?
No, they do manufacture them in a different manner. So for example, archive drives could be very fast to write, but very slow to read. So you have those kind of drives. Then the surveillance drives are the same thing. They're optimized for writing, not reading.
Okay.
Yeah. So you have to buy the drive that's matches most what you need it for. So I mean, I go by, if you need a reliable drive, the enterprise drives are the way to go. Just like SSDs, enterprise. You have to go enterprise because they're totally different drives than consumer drives.
So there is an actual quality difference.
It's yeah. And consumer and enterprise, huge difference, and the price difference too, obviously.
Yeah. And the I think like enterprise is like Barracuda and Exos, right?
Exos, yeah. Like I don't like Seagate. No one likes Seagate. Who doesn't?
Okay.
I have 16 terabyte Exos here, and I trust them. I trust these drives. I put forensic cases on it because we got to hold them for 7 years. I'll leave them here, and I trust them. But anything else, I don't know.
Exos. Okay, so those are the number one, but they're also really expensive.
Yeah. Well, we bought 3. I found 3 in the enclosures back in at the start of the pandemic, and we bought them for like $320.
Oh
I opened the enclosure. Here's the Exos. I'm like, holy crap, Exos, get out of here.
I did.
That's all they had.
Actually, I got Barracuda Pros in a couple of those things, which are like $400-$500 for.
How does that make any sense?
Yeah. Hey, so the last thing I wanted to ask you. This was the first time, and you mentioned it in your video. This is the first time that you've actually dealt with white label Western Digitals.
Yeah, never seen them.
And I kind of asked you. I said, well, why do they have this built into
the pin that's blocking it?
Yeah. So you can maybe explain to the audience a little bit about why they might do that, what's the benefit for them, and then why is it only these white label drives that have that?
I spoke to some people in the industry, and no one's 100% sure why they're doing this. There's probably no reason for it other than they don't want you pulling the drive out and reusing it somewhere else or reselling them. That might be the point, because I think they're selling. If you ever notice, the external drives are always cheaper.
Yeah.
But then you open it up and there's an expensive drive inside. They probably don't want you reselling them, because if you start modifying the pin, people wwon't buy them.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
If you can't just plug it in, then.
Yeah. Like our tools ignore that pin completely. I just plugged it in and it detects it, but our tools don't support them. Like the PC3000 supports tons of drives for firmware work, but I plugged it in, it's not supported.
Wow. Okay. So repairing those drives, how did you end up finding out the exact area that it exploded?
I worked on drive for so many years. Like I know, like it's every drive board is made the same. They need to have some sort of surge suppressant, like some kind of fuse. It has to come in through the power line. and there's two power lines coming through, then it always blows the first one. There's always two fuses and a diode and a suppressor diode. So it comes through and it blows up the first two, and then it blows the diode if it passed that. Sometimes, if there's too much power going through, it will actually blow the head stack, which is the heads inside the drive.
Oh, wow.
That happened.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, when you reached out to me, you were pretty confident that that was not the issue. You knew right away exactly what the issue was. Your company and whatnot. What do you foresee in the terms of moving forward as your YouTube channel and your company? What is it that you want to see moving forward? I guess, like, where are you going from here?
Well, we want to move more to forensics. Data recovery in itself is dying. People are moving to the cloud, so we don't rely on data recovery. Data recovery is a tiny portion of this business, what we do. Forensics is becoming huge. People are committing more crime. More crime is happening online. So a lot of lawyers are relying on experts like me for their cases. A lot of cases don't move forward if we don't provide the evidence. Data recovery is dead. It's so going away. There's no more money in data recovery. People are they don't need us anymore.
Yeah, well, again, everyone keeps things on cloud, which I specifically do not. I don't agree with, but that's the centralized entity and decentralized entity for me. So
unfortunately, yeah,
that's just the way it is. So for the time being, I'm going to be keeping my stuff on hard drives. If I blow any more up, I'll give you a shout.
Yeah, for sure.
But all right, I know we're running out of time. So
it's
Chris,
gonna cut us off any second now.
I want to thank you so much
no
for
problem.
helping me out. Honestly, like, that was a really depressing video I had to make, and I'm really happy I made it because I met you, and
for sure.
Just like, the community is so cool. Like, just people reaching out and helping out, and like, that's just amazing. The fact that you were in Toronto, and I was like, oh, okay.
I didn't even know you're Canadian. I had no idea.
Oh, you didn't, eh?
I had no idea.
Yeah. No, I had you reach out to me, and then that other guy in Toronto reached out to me for hosting services. So
yeah. See, look at the small world. Everyone's helping each other.
It's awesome, man.
Yeah,
so keep it up. And again, I'm gonna post everything in the links in the description to your place.
Awesome.
They
Thanks.
have especially if they need anything done, then go to you, and that's all there is to it. So
I appreciate it, Derek.
All right, man. Thanks again.
Thanks, everyone.
All right, guys. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.